let's have a little lesson, a little basic about blending modes and what they do and how they can work, but with one specific blending mode that we're going to be talking about. And then we're going to apply it to an image and show you how you can actually mask hair. Well, it's not really masking hair, but it looks like it's been masked, all with using blending modes. Okay, so here's my little sample image here. You can see I've got this layer, I've got just a plain red background, and I've got this sample image in black and white on top. So I've got a gradient there, I've got a solid black, a 50% neutral grey there, and a white, pure as the driven snow. Okay, so there's my colors. Now what I'm going to do is just change it to multiply mode, and you can see what happens to our image here. Now, what most people don't actually know and understand, really, a lot of people might have the general gist of what multiply mode is doing, but I'm going to tell you the boring mathematics behind it all. What Photoshop is actually doing when it's doing this, it's taking the color from the top layer here, it's multiplying it, which makes sense because it's called multiply mode, with the color that's below that, and then here's the kicker, and then it divides it by 255 to give us the result as to what the color is actually going to be. Now, if that sounds like jargon, that's all right. You don't really need to understand it all. But if you come over here, I just create a levels adjustment layer. You can see there's 0 up here is our black section and 255 down here for our white. Now everything in between is the shades of grey, and so that's what it's doing. So it's multiplying the light and the dark areas and then spitting out the average, which is going to become the darker color. So it makes an image darker. Another way that you can understand the multiply mode that's been explained to me before is if you had a couple of transparencies and you held them up together and looked at the light with them, the image is going to be darker, and it's the same kind of principle here. So let's put it into action. We've got this beautiful model here, and this image was supplied by one of the users over at Retouch Pro, Retouching forum site, Lisbeth Jesper from Denmark. So I'd like to thank Lisbeth for supplying this image, and all credit to them. I think they're a semi-pro photographer. I appreciate that anyway. Now this type of technique is going to work great when we've got a model who's been shot on a very light background, white preferably, and also if the model has dark hair. Now in this case you can see that she doesn't have like pitch black hair, and in fact there's even some blonde hair in there. So this is not the ideal image for it, but I'm going to show you how you can make it work for this type of image as well. Alright, so what I need to do first of all is grab another background. So I've got two different backgrounds here. I've got one of a door and one of the sky. So I'm just going to select all, edit, wherever it is. I don't actually select here, select all, cuckoo. Normally I just use a shortcut. So Command A or Control A, and then copy, edit, copy. At least I know where the copy menu is. Come in here and then edit, paste. Now I always use the shortcut, so I'm just doing that for those people who like to see the menus and where they are. So now I'm just going to position our sky image here, and now I could enlarge it if I want to, whatever. Alright, that's not so important. Next thing though is I'm going to hold down the Alt and the Option key and click on the Add Layer Mask icon. So now that's masking the whole image there. Now I'm going to change my blending mode to multiply. Now just think about what that's going to do. It's going to, once whatever it is revealed, you can see it's all hidden now, but when it reveals, it's going to multiply the colors there with the colors below, divided by 255, and spit out whatever the color is, and that will be darker generally than what the top level color is. So if you've got, for example in this case, hair that's dark, it works great because it's already dark. It can't get much darker. If you've got lighter hair, then you're going to have to play with the tones a little bit, and you might have to do a little more touching or brushing up. Alright, so I'm just going to grab my Wacom pen now, click on B to grab my brush tool. I'm just going to right click there or click on my Wacom button to increase my brush. I've got a soft edge brush. Okay, I need white as my foreground color, and now I've got my mask selected, and I'm just going to increase my opacity there to 100%. So just going to color over my image here, and there we go. Now you can see in certain parts it's making the hair like a lot darker. Okay, and what we can do is zoom up there. Alright, so this is looking great, and you can see it actually looks excellent. What I would do though, personally, to make this look even better is I'd reduce my brush size down here now. Still got a soft edge brush. Reduce my opacity down to say 17%, that'll work. And then click on black. And here I'm just going to sort of stroke over some of these quite dark hair sections here, just to sort of bring back some of that original color. And you can do this to suit, but you don't have to do a lot of work with it. Like, really, it looks fantastic, and we haven't really done anything besides add a layer mask, change it to multiply mode, and then just do a tiny little bit of masking. Let's try it again with the other image we've got here. So I'll just Command C to copy it, or Control C on the PC if unfortunately you've got one of those. Click on my background layer, Command V to paste it. I'm just going to position it in place now. Might enlarge this slightly as well. Okay, and we could even blur the background a bit too, which sometimes is good if it's in the, you don't want it to be a focus of the image. I'm just going to hold down the Alt or the Option key now and click on Add Layer Mask, and that gives me a black layer mask, which is what I want. Now change the blending mode to multiply, and now select my brush and give myself a nice big brush. Nice brush with a soft edge. Increase my opacity. White as my foreground color. Alright, and here we go. Okay, and you can see this is quite dark, so it's not working as well. Like if I go in here, you can see it's just way too dark. So just on those edges there, you just need to add a little bit of a little bit more sort of masking to get that right. But all in all, it's pretty simple. And I'll just actually reduce the opacity down on the brush there. The opacity is your key there if you do need to mess around with that. Okay, so just go over some of these hair strands here. As long as you've got a soft edge brush as well, it's gonna work fine. Whoop, just undo that. Okay, so there we have it. That one's not quite as good because the background is very dark, but yeah, it's a great little technique. Make sure you've got the right type of image for it. If you're shooting models on a white background, or you've got shots where there's a very light background, this technique will work for you. Have a fantastic day, and I hope now that you're in the 0.01% of people out there who are using Photoshop who actually understand how blending modes actually work. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.